Have you ever been to a Catholic Mass, or maybe seen one on TV and wondered, what's that called? The Catholic Church is full of unique objects, each with its own name, purpose, and deep meaning. Today, we're uncovering 10 things you've probably seen in the Catholic Church, but never knew the names of. By the end of this video, you'll have a deeper appreciation for the rich traditions and sacred symbols of the faith. Let's dive in. Let's start with the thurible, one of the most recognizable symbols of Catholic worship. This swinging metal censer holds burning charcoal and incense, producing fragrant smoke that symbolizes prayers rising to heaven. The use of incense dates back to ancient times, where it was a key element in Jewish temple worship and later adopted by Christians. Today, it's used during Mass, funerals, and other solemn ceremonies. The priest or deacon swings the thurible in precise motions, blessing the altar, the gospel, and the congregation. Interestingly, some churches use unique blends of incense, giving each parish its own distinct holy scent. The largest thurible in the world is the Botafumeiro in the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela, Spain. It weighs about 176 pounds, 80 kilograms, and is swung by a team of 8 men using a pulley system. During pilgrim masses, it creates an awe-inspiring display, filling the cathedral with clouds of incense. Next, we have the pyx, a small but mighty object. This tiny, often gold-plated container carries the Eucharist to those who can't attend Mass, like the sick, elderly, or homebound. The pyx is typically carried by a priest, deacon, or extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. Inside, the consecrated hosts are carefully placed and transported with reverence. It's a beautiful reminder of the Church's mission to bring Christ to everyone, no matter where they are. Some pyxes are adorned with intricate designs, turning them into miniature works of sacred art. In medieval Europe, pyxes were often elaborately designed and carried by priests on long journeys. Some were even shaped like miniature churches to emphasize their sacred purpose. The ciborium is another sacred vessel you've likely seen during communion. At first glance, it might look like a chalice, but it's slightly wider and comes with a lid. While the chalice holds the wine that becomes Christ's blood, the ciborium holds the consecrated hosts. After communion, the remaining hosts are stored in the ciborium inside the tabernacle, preserving them for adoration or future masses. The alb is one of the most ancient vestments worn in the church. This long, white robe, tied at the waist with a cincture, symbolizes the purity that comes from baptism. Its name comes from the Latin word albus, meaning white. Every priest, deacon, and even altar server wears an alb during liturgical celebrations. The garment dates back to the early church when Christians adopted the everyday tunic as a sign of unity. Today, it serves as a reminder of the call to holiness for all the baptized. Ever seen a priest sprinkling holy water during a blessing? The tool he's using is called an aspergillum. It can take different forms, from a simple brush to a metal rod with small perforations. The aspergillum is used with an aspersorium, a bucket that holds the holy water. Together, they're essential for blessings, the Easter Vigil, and other significant ceremonies. Interestingly, in some churches, the aspergillum is designed with a decorative handle or intricate detailing to reflect the solemnity of the occasion, often featuring crosses or other Christian symbols. The monstrance is one of the most striking objects in Catholic tradition. Made of precious metals and often adorned with intricate designs, it's used to display the consecrated host during Eucharistic adoration. Its name comes from the Latin word monstrare, meaning to show. The host is placed in the center, behind a glass window called a lunette, allowing the faithful to adore Christ's real presence. Monstrances often feature rays or intricate designs that emphasize the holiness of what they hold. Some monstrances are centuries old, standing as masterpieces of both art and faith. Next, we have the pall, a small but significant piece of liturgical linen. The pall is a stiffened square cloth placed over the chalice during Mass to protect the wine from dust or insects. But it's more than just practical. The pall also symbolizes the burial cloth that covered Christ's body in the tomb. Often decorated with a cross or other sacred symbols, it's a small but meaningful part of the Eucharistic celebration. In some traditions, the pall is embroidered by cloistered nuns as an act of devotion. These handmade palls often feature intricate designs that reflect the liturgical season. Let's talk about the crozier. This staff, carried by bishops and abbots, is shaped like a shepherd's crook, symbolizing their role as spiritual shepherds of their flock. The crozier's origins date back to early Christianity, and it's rich with symbolism. The curve represents care and guidance, while the staff itself signifies authority and the bishop's call to lead. In processions, the bishop carries the crozier in his left hand, showing that his right hand is free for blessings. Now, let's talk about something you've probably seen many times: the stole. This long, narrow strip of cloth draped over a priest's shoulders isn't just for decoration, it holds deep meaning. The stole represents the priestly authority and the grace of the sacrament of holy orders. Its origins trace back to ancient Rome, where Roman officials wore a long scarf called an orarium as a sign of authority. Over time, it evolved into the stole, symbolizing the responsibility of the sacred office. The stole changes color with the liturgical season: purple for Lent, white for Easter, red for martyrs. It's worn during sacraments like Mass, confession, and baptisms, reminding us of the priest's role in guiding the faithful. Do you know the name of the small cap worn by bishops, cardinals, and the Pope? We've all seen it, but many don't know its name. In Latin-based languages, it's often called a solidou, but in English and Italian, it's known as the Zetto. This small, round cap has a deeper meaning than its simple design suggests. It's a sign of humility and devotion to God. Its history dates back to early monastic traditions, where clergy shaved their heads in a symbolic act of dedication to God. Clerics adopted the style circa the early Middle Ages or earlier to keep their heads warm and to insulate the tonsure. The name Zetto derives from its resemblance to half a pumpkin. It is almost identical to the Jewish kippah or yarmulke, but typically differs in construction, with the Zetto made of separate joined sections and color-coordinated to clerical status. And there you have it, 10 fascinating objects in the Catholic Church, each with its own story and spiritual meaning. Which one intrigued you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Catholic Snack for more bite-sized Catholic content. Thanks for watching, and God bless.